quiet in here.
You know, like Final Fantasy.
Hello, people.
Hi, friends.
People?
Wait a
There's
minute.
there's no
We're
such
doing this in
thing-
front of people?
That's right.
There's no such thing as people. They don't exist. They can't hurt you, Stoker.
Oh, thank God.
You know, there's this one YouTube computer science course from Harvard, like CS50, where during the pandemic, apparently they record it like they've done it more than once. Like they do it every few years, I guess. And during the pandemic, there was one where the guy was talking on a stage. They had like a bunch of little like sort of like Muppety looking dummies in the audience. And I couldn't pay attention to what he was saying because I kept looking at those. Like, what the fuck is that? Anyway.
Little do you know that one was not recorded during the pandemic. That's just how he teaches all the time, but he's got tenure, so...
Turns out most Harvard comp sci majors are, in fact, Muppets.
Okay, I think I need to skip through all of this again.
Okay.
Yesterday you got the pirate ending, right?
Yes.
Correct. We got the pirate ending,
Oh,
and,
I'm pretty sure both of these charts are exactly the same. Let me... Jow.
Pirate West form win. Don't we have a pirate? No, we don't have a Pirate West. Never mind.
I don't think rules are the rules is actually necessary because it barely changes the scene.
Yeah. Okay. I'm glad Maxie included a fast forward option.
Oh,
yeah, no kidding.
Woo!
Trying to hunt down the conditions for the best ending would not be fun otherwise.
A lot of games I've realized that they gotta have fast forward buttons in games like, well, pretty much anything really these days.
Well, I've noticed that Max in particular cares about like accessibility and convenience, and it is something I've come to appreciate.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, Jonas? I've come to appreciate you.
Oh, well, it's just mutual there, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Your face is handsome.
Oh, how dare you!
Eka.
I don't even know what that voice I just did was, but okay.
Not sure, but you've done at least one game.
A7 midday Barabeth. Illigrab.
And Illigrab, I trust you, man.
You know, Maxie would be really good at Telegram stickers. I kind of want to suggest that to him because I'm looking at the little adder heads and such. I'm just like, come on.
I don't think this one's necessary, anyway, but I'll go with it anyway.
Boxer asks Pirate West form when? Yes, the pirate, my favorite animal.
Your favorite anime? Oh.
Etor.
Yes.
Barabeth. Geoff. Day 9. Morning Eka. Barabeth.
Did we ever do him, did we ever do Gyop at this day?
At this time of
Should've been
day.
Jow, but okay. Maybe I didn't mess it up. This chart is so badly collated.
Oh, are you looking at that guide again?
Yes. Yoff. Barabeth. Barabeth.
Barabeth.
Ciao. Go. L-bar. We have another chance to do the fake ending.
Oh, the joke one?
Yes.
Oh, hell yeah.
I like the little love hearts on his face where he says, "Let's run away."
Adder wiped his tears off his face.
You're right, Bard. I'm tired of trying all the time. There ain't nothing left in the city for us, so let's run away. You and I.
Adder! My boy! I knew you'd come back to your senses!
There it is!
Get up and Adder toured the steps for the rest of their lives, helping and causing mischief on equal parts, embracing each other tenderly when night fell.
Aww.
Never a boring day for them, far away from reality. Really, really damn far away from reality, Lynn.
Oh, how the rivers of history meander! The tales that could have been!
But weren't.
Love trumps all! Gator wins! The end.
Fine, Gator wins.
Really?
No, move your tail back to canon.
I love that. I'm glad we had a chance to see that.
The narrator is officially Rick.
Okay.
He's not just voiced by Rick, he is Rick.
Why are you talking?
Bearbiff.
The master says, "Damn."
You
the
never
narrator
asked
like-
about the reset part, did you?
Hmm?
Said something about reset?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
All right. Give me a moment to get dressed, and I'll be right there with you.
King's dead. And then...
We'll prove you
I
wrong.
don't care how you spin it. This ain't right. It's the same in the end. Someone's always pulling the threads behind the curtains. So what if Eka is trustworthy? What if you are? What if the next one that comes along ain't as nice? We're switching one problem for another in the end. And I won't live with more secrets, knowing I'm just leaving everyone exposed. You don't get to decide whose lives are worth saving and who gets to be fodder for your cause, Grab. You don't know us as well as you think you do. If anyone got to deal with the problems of the kingdom, it's the people who live here. Ain't nobody in this world gonna join a hypocrite like you.
Then
I suggest you start running.
Not that it'll do you much good.
He didn't need to be told twice. Adder ran faster than he ever knew he could, and yet the shadow with yellow eyes remained inches away from him. In a different world, in a different situation perhaps, he could have outrun her based on talent, but he was bound to his body, and it was broken in ways that would never heal again. He would never live to the fullest of his potential. All he could do to lighten his feet was lose the impression of dignity he'd found over the last few days.
Hey, Bones. I'm sorry it had to come to this. No hard feelings, right? We've always known this was how it was going to go down in the end.
We literally know it could have gone a different way. Adder shoved a pedestal down and turned it around a corner in purposefully deserted corridors. He knew that she was hurting him again, just like the first time they met, exactly to where she wanted him to be.
For what it's worth, I really liked you. Really, really liked you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of glad I get to hunt you, though. It's like a bonding experience. I get to be exactly as I am in your last moments. And you get the beast you feared. We don't need to pretend anymore.
Adder ran straight into a door, hoping for anything at the other side. Surprised guards, horrified nobles, a maid tidying up a room, anything. But she led him straight into an elegant garderobe at the edge of a wall instead. Of course, a direct access to the sewers.
Here's the thing, Bones. I don't think I'd be able to hold myself back if I killed you now. I'd just savor you, bit by bit,
Of course.
all to myself. And that'd make a huge mess, you know.
She's a man-eater.
It'd be pretty hard to explain, what with all the guards around and all.
The door opened once again, and Albino Smith, with a vacant expression, stood before him.
So I won't be doing the honors this time.
How?
Sorry, pup. It looks like she did have a breath of energy left somewhere. Long enough to carry you back to the ship, I hope.
Aina. No. Please. Not you.
Adder's desperate pleas did nothing to deter Aina's advance.
I think I'm going to take a page from your book and roast you with potatoes. It just seems like the right thing to do.
Aina threw her arms back, swinging her maul with unnatural strength.
Boss! Please!
The hug of metal came down full force on the wolf, sending her flying against the wall. Her body dropped down to the floor with the ugliest splatter of blood trailing behind her.
KO!
That hurts, sis.
Aina raised her hammer again, poised to slam it over her sister's head. Adder immediately threw his whole weight against the hammer.
Aina, that's enough! Quit there!
Aina turned her blank face to Adder. Her spirit seemed to snuff out into nothing right there and then.
What are you doing, Bones? You should just let her finish me now. I'm never gonna stop hunting you for as long as I live. May as well live with one enemy less.
If I get rid of you now, we're gonna have to deal with a bunch of angry captainless beasts later. Better the evil you know, right?
Wow. Good thinking. You've always been great at coming up with excuses.
Fully uncertain of what the future may hold, Adder lifted Aina's empty body within his arms and ran away from the castle.
Good luck, Bones. I'll catch you later.
She's probably dead.
Oh no, puppy!
I only have Adder's words to go by what happened next. He always swore that nobody would stop him as he ran all the way back through the royal pathway to the Temple of Hirab with Aina in tow. That the guard somehow sensed the urgency of his mission and moved to let him pass. I've always known this to be a lie by the amount of blood covering both him and Aina's hammer in his hand, but I let him tell the stories he wished it had happened instead. I mean, I'm sure Eka left a lot of blood on that hammer anyway, so... Zhao was already awake by the time Adder collapsed at the temple gate, and it took all of her strength and bare fists to drag him back inside. He could only remember rattling out 2 breathless words.
There. Here.
Adder came 2 hours later to the sound of furious screaming. It was a voice he knew well.
Show your faces! Give us the murderer and walk out alive, or die together like cockroaches!
Give yourself up, then! No one has spilled more blood over this land than your army!
The murderer. That was supposed to be him, wasn't it? Adder turned his head away from the window, his eye focused and unfocused over the silhouette on the chair next to his bed. He could tell the shape of Zhao's horns against the firelight.
Did you really do it?
Yeah.
Silence.
I see.
It spelled the beginning of the end of a friendship.
I've finished going over my calculations! We're ready to start!
Trying to dispel the blurriness cast upon his sight, Adder blinked hard and then focused again on the fire, obscured by Bearbith and another shape he could not recognize.
Can you stand?
Adder lied again. Step after step, the exhausted boy scanned the room as he tottered ahead. He found Aina's lifeless body tucked into a corner and breathed the smallest sigh of relief. Outside, on the patio, Etor's riders prepared for battle. Behind them, the entire congregation huddled into a mass of screams of all kinds.
We tried our best to help the people escape, but Etor wouldn't have it after all. He's made plenty clear what will happen to me if I try to stop him.
Pride before reason. Can't say I don't understand somehow.
Zhao sent an exhausted look in Adder's direction. He could clearly sense all the conflicting emotions over the dark circles in her face. Why was the most pressing question of all. Just the one he couldn't answer. He couldn't find it in his heart to betray yet another friend. So he just kept walking toward Bearbith instead.
All my hours of tireless labor, all the research and the arguments and the sleepless nights have led to this moment. I present to you, my friends, my latest invention. I call it the Pain Briquette.
Bearbeth presented them with a terribly named compressed tablet, the size of half his hand.
In the same way alcohol soothes us or enrages us, or some herbs have anesthetic properties over our skins, allowing us to lose our feeling for a short time. It stands to reason that medicine could affect our sensibility to emotional distress as well.
Hello, Chase.
Invented
Also Zeronian.
antidepressants.
Yes.
Ah.
Good job.
Hello,
Obvious.
Zeronian Chase.
With a combination rate, but you got a rate of 10.
Anyway, go ahead, Rick.
So, we could have just dumped some beer on her?
Why? Are you listening to yourself? The high water content could have put out the fire altogether. Not to mention the way alcohol tends to combust when exposed to a heat source. To think some of you made it to adulthood. It's my fault for forgetting I speak to the unversed. I have toiled hours away to create this dry, potato starch-bound tablet that can be consumed easily and narrow down the range of effects to something that should ensure enough numbing as to allow her a chance to process whatever pain brought her to this state.
You think that'll be enough?
No, of course not. It is as you said, friend. Life may be pain, but we need not face it alone. This shall only be a tool in the upcoming battle. But the personal component shall make all the difference in its success. And if it fails, well, at least we can say we tried.
Adder felt compelled to say something to fight Bearbeth's decision. There surely had to be an alternative of sorts, right? Anything that could still his fearful heart. No. No matter what Bearbeth had offered, nothing in this world would have made Adder feel at ease. Thoreau hung his head and nodded.
Then all that's left is adding the briquette directly to the fire. Adder, would you care to do the honors?
The tablet only looked remotely appropriately sized within Adder's enormous hands. He turned to face Zhao, desperate for some kind of permission. She couldn't help the sigh that escaped her lips. Doing her best not to look conflicted, Zhao put a hand on the small of his back and gave him a little encouraging slap.
It's your moment. Show us what you're made of.
Adder carefully balled his hand into a fist. He made a couple of tentative steps towards the forge and then kneeled down in front of the fire.
Hey, Sip. We ain't got much time now, but I wanted to say again that I'm here for you. Forever and ever. No matter how we sink, I know we're gonna find a way to bring us back to the surface.
Adder reached into the flame, letting the tablet dissolve into the fire, and immediately felt transported elsewhere. The slow twitch of a finger grazing against the sand, the feeling of loose hair strands on his forehead. Adder could tell that his spirit had been returned to him after a journey elsewhere. He could see at last he had emerged from the fire into the Temple of Hurub, but not the real one, no. It was a slightly distorted world, the world as seen from the other side of a looking glass. A cage of sorts. Adder turned away from the blurred image of his friends and inwards onto the dunes he'd already faced once before. He found her before long. A taciturn silhouette, looking disinterested in his direction. So absorbed she was in this that she needed a moment to notice the new presence in front of her.
Oh, Adder. You're back.
Sip, is that really you?
Seb stretched out a hand in front of her own face. She turned it left and right, as if wondering the exact same thing.
The one you that could bear to speak out of all of me, I suppose. It's been hard keeping the others in line lately. Every thought feels like walking through molasses. It was easy enough to speak my mind to you last time. Every part of me agreed that it was madder at you than anything else in the world. But now, well, shame and regret finally caught up to us. Let's leave it at that.
No, we ain't leaving it at that. What's going on? Tell me what happened. How'd you end up like this?
Have you ever felt like you wished the earth would swallow you? Like disappearing from existence at the smallest mistake? Something like a need to torture yourself before anyone else can get their chance to hurt you. What am I saying? I know you have. You're a glutton for punishment. It feels good, doesn't it? To justify mistakes with injury. It's so much easier to think there must be a price to pay for every error, a debt which will eventually be paid through your own suffering.
Sip, what happened?
You know what happened.
Sep vanished without a word.
That was just a mistake.
You didn't mean to.
I'm tired of making mistakes. I'm done pretending that I have the strength to live past them. Do not ask me to return, Adder. I will not be coming back.
Okay, I won't ask you to come back. I won't tell you to please live for me or for anyone. Just let me ask you this. Is this really what you want?
As suddenly as she left, Sep manifested her image again, turned away from the stag.
What I want? If I truly had what I wanted, I would like to stop the world instead of myself. Leave it frozen for just a moment. I would like to walk in the darkest streets at night and steal someone's food, take my clothes off and go swimming in the sea. I would like to live a life free of expectations.
But you've already done all that stuff.
No, not like that. I'm not truly free. If I were, my life wouldn't be like this. I would go out there and start again. I would learn so many things. I would read all the books in the world and have time for them all.
Sep, no one knows more than you do.
You don't understand. It's not about what I know. It's about who I am. If I could be myself, I would never stay in one place. I'd never spend more than a day with anyone else. No more memories to tear me apart. No one left to remember my mistakes. I would rest so well if I could make everything disappear. I'd know peace at last.
Those are all things you love from life. You're telling me all the things you love and how you'd love to keep doing them forever if you weren't so afraid and hurt. You don't want to die, Sep. You want to change the way you live.
Sep blinked. She shut her eyes once and again as red filled white. There were no clouds in the sky, but drop after drop precipitated against the ground. Like a dam finally breaking deep inside, uncontrollable tears ran down Sep's face. She screamed from the bottom of her heart.
Make it go away. Please. Please. I don't know how to live with the pain. Everyone knows. Everyone always knew. I can't live with that. Please.
I can't make the pain go away. And I don't know if anyone can. But I can offer you a hug. I've had a few of those lately. They felt real nice.
After a moment of hesitation, the image of Sep reappeared into Adder's arms. He wrapped them around her as softly as he would embrace a baby, afraid he would harm her somehow.
Right? Ain't that great? Just imagine how good they feel with the real deal. Whoa! Whoa! I'm so sad I never got to give you a hug back when I was all nice and round. It'd be a real tragedy if I never get to give you one chubby Adder hug.
Are you seriously trying to bribe me right now?
Is it working?
Yes. That's certainly something worth living for, isn't it?
I love you so much, Sep. No matter what happened in the past, I love the person you are now. I love you with all the good and the bad. I want to spend the rest of my life learning to be me around you.
I love how that sounds.
Oh, that ain't fair. You can't just come for my heart like this, ma'am.
Sep chuckled as she spun around in Adder's arms, brighter and brighter. Soon, a completely different being towered over Adder.
You know, that hat looks really good on you.
Okay, that was funny.
He's like, damn, she got even thicker.
You don't think it's too large?
Can't believe you
Does this
asked me
make my
something
butt
like
look
that.
big?
This the real you then?
You know how he feels about big butts.
No. To seek to find a true self among the many sides that make up a mind is a fool's errand. This is simply one side I can't bear to show to anyone else. When someone sees this side of me, that is all they will think of me after all. They will not remember all the time I've spent being the me I wish to be. They'll only know when the mask slips.
Wasn't this a plot in The Adventures of Gumball?
Was it?
I don't know.
Yeah, Gumball's girlfriend.
Oh, Penny.
Yes. Of course you would remember that name.
Well, I mean, she's the only Penny who has more uploads on E621 than mine.
Doodle, so why is he looking at her crotch still? Well, for one, he only has that pose, but also...
For another, like, I mean, come on.
When you talk about it that way, it sounds like you think it's the real you.
I wish it was. To carelessly let out every part of me. To be unsightly in every regard. To be all fangs and nails and mud.
Oh, come on, you're
That would be
adorable,
everything,
kiddo.
wouldn't it?
Yeah, being Ana must feel pretty great.
That's a fair point. You love Ana like the terrible disaster she is. Would you love me if I was like her?
Would you love me if I was a worm? No.
Sure. After you too.
It's going down that path, eh?
What if
Oh,
I
miracle.
looked like this?
Now you're just taking the piss. That shifted into an annoyingly perfect imitation of Elbar.
Oh, it's going to take me a bit to adapt, but I'm sure we can find plenty of ways to...
Oh, what if I turned into a lemon?
Yeah.
I would plant you in my garden and cherish you and look at your beautiful lemon tree self approximately every 10 seconds. But please don't turn into a lemon.
I don't want to have lemon
Hasn't it
kids.
been about 10 seconds since we've looked at our lemon tree?
And all the lemon kids? Come
Zep
on.
laughed so hard that her stomach would have hurt in any other situation.
I thought... I really thought reining in my emotions was the brave thing to do. All this time.
Forcing yourself to do a thing you don't like to prove you're all grown up ain't being brave. It's called being childish.
I'm not being...
Joseph pressed her lips together and looked away.
Fine, I admit it. That was childish of me. Now wipe that smirk right off your face, jerk.
Jerk? Hey, I'm not the one that goes around setting people on fire.
A jerk and a guilt tripper. But one I love nonetheless.
Their hands grazed against each other incorporeally.
You want to get us out of here? There's a bunch of folks looking forward to meeting you outside. Heard you're Yusif or something?
Will I be good enough to help them?
I don't know. But I'm looking forward to finding out with you.
Hand in hand, they walked out of her mind.
You know, through the exit door.
Reality seeped into Sep's world, leaving only after images in Adder's mind. When he came to, he was lying on the ground. Zhao stood by his side, gaping at the towel-clad figure in front of her.
The famous forge.
I like Zhao's look.
Gazelle took a few steps around Adder's workplace. She settled for an only sooty on one side bedsheet to cover her figure.
And you must be... Zhao?
My son?
Sep barely grazed her hand against Zhao's ear tips, leaving a trace of char behind.
Well, aren't you adorable? I love hearing you stammer all over the place. Thank you for taking such good care of me, priestess.
Adder had to clamber forward to hold on to Zhao, lest the poor goat fall dead on her feet.
You never said she was so...
Shh, it's okay. I know.
Oh, hey, friend. It's good to see you again. You're quite literally glowing.
Sep stared at Bearbeth with an unreadable expression. Then she turned her head towards the golem by his side.
If you'd dared wake me up in that, I would have murdered you all.
Quite near dead.
Oh.
But... thank you for taking care of me, too.
Sep turned her face toward the motionless creature laying a few steps behind them in the corner.
This is not the time to sleep, Pipsqueak.
Who you calling, Pipsqueak?
Sep bent down and put her lips against Ana's. Little by little, color returned to the albino smith's cheeks.
There. That should keep you going for a while.
Hey,
Ana
what are we doing here?
Ana took a hand to her lips. Once she could put two and two together, she turned redder than a tomato, trying to lunge at Sep out of sheer embarrassment. Sep just smirked in return.
You've all given me more than I can ever repay. I don't think I can make amends anymore. But I can atone at least.
That's a lot of Sep thigh right there.
Oh, hang on, I wasn't looking.
Baby got back.
Okay.
The thigh just goes up and up
bend up, bend up.
Goes all the way up to her hip.
No, you don't gotta do any of that. We just gotta find a way to get.
Sepp let a wistful smile crawl into her face.
Adder, I don't want to change the way I live. I want to change the world.
Sepp's form shifted into a little comet headed for the roof. Everyone else ran onto the patio. Sepp could hear it, somewhere deep in her soul, the prayers. Cornered on the patio, huddled amongst the clamoring and the screams, prayers driven by fear, they called for their Jasif. And they all drew silent when they came face to face with her image, newly formed and clad in nothing but a sheet blowing in the wind, looking straight out of a sculpture. The Jasif rose over the temple and roared. It was a deafening sound, one Adder could have never imagined she was capable of making.
I am Jasif, and today, Bazaxarak rises again!
The Jasif morphed again into a creature the likes of which the world had never seen before. All Adder could think as he saw the woman changing shapes in front of him, all flames and fangs and fear, was hunger. The transformation struck terror into the hearts of Etor's band, but he still raised his sword in the air.
The Yasif blesses us today! She shall lead us to victory!
The band fell back together, screaming in unison as they watched the Yasif fly away into the skies, putting on a show for those that waited below. Zhao didn't miss a beat.
They're distracted. This is our best chance to guide everyone to safety before the battle starts.
You and Berber take care of that. Think you got enough juice left to handle the riders, Aina? You do that then.
Aina punched one hand against the other. Piece of cake.
Ada, aren't you coming with us?
You go ahead. The show ain't over for me yet.
In the middle of the panicking crowds, Zhao and Adder shared a hug.
We'll be waiting for you.
Please don't.
The sky cracked with electricity, aroused by a rising star that crossed the sea of red glass forming over Alom. Embers rained over the city, turning into dust before they could harm the army besieging the temple. The Jasif landed on the roof with the delicacy of a dandelion, but the image of grace was dispelled with yet another roar. Her maws opened with a trail of smoke, and soon they filled the air with a pillar of fire so hot that the air glowed white where it touched her body. Even if the army hadn't been fighting for a dead king in a kingdom of uncertain future, even if they had been in their best possible shape, they would have still fled at the sight of this ungodly creature. Every single battalion surrounding the temple fell out of line and routed, far more scared of the divine punishment cast upon them than the life of shame that awaited them for deserting. The Jasif shut her smoldering mouth, and what would have been a triumphant grin, but ended in it as a bitter grimace. Her gaze fell back on the throng skittering below her.
Why? I'm here, walking the skies. It's finally within my grasp. I have the power to destroy all the people who looked down upon me. I could lay waste to the entire city and build anew. Isn't this what you always wanted?
The Jasif looked at her claws. She opened and closed them.
I guess that I won't ever shake my reins off.
Lost in her own mind, perched upon the gates, the Jasif didn't notice the approach of a single warrior towards her. He removed his helmet, for how could he keep his face hidden? Her presence was such that he barely managed to keep his mouth closed.
What an awe-striking sight you are. It is you, is it not? The Regicide. No other creature in the world could hope to match the king's power.
You seem distant today, babe.
Well, but seeing now, I understand. At last, the reason I was brought to this world. My ultimate purpose is to erase your wicked beauty from Dakna. You are my destiny!
You truly are a fantastic actor, Sir Askadath. It takes talent to improvise like that.
You know my name, Beast?
I do. I've thought so many times of how I'd rid myself of you one day. And yet, my heart drops, thinking of being apart from you on our final act. You've always dreaded to dream, but I hope you'll make an exception today. I shall be a nightmare just for you. Come, let's write together a spectacular end.
At thee, monster!
The Jasif threw her claws over Elbar, stealing the knight off the ground as he lifted his blade to strike her down.
Sepp, get your tail down here this instant! And you, put that sword down, you dingus! She ain't done nothing to you!
What?
Okay, that's funny. I like that.
Just holding him up like that.
That's right, one-eyed scoundrel. Use this chance to remove yourself from my sight. I don't have time to best you in battle. It is time I serve my kingdom and my liege.
What about serving your heart?
The Deceive and Elbar, frozen in place, exchanged a look.
Are you proposing to me?
Is this the birth of Adelbar? Elder!
Elbar sinned.
No, I mean, listen to your heart. What's the right thing to do?
My heart clamors for vengeance!
Adder sighed so hard he felt its lungs turn inside out.
Fine. You got me. I am the Regis. It was me. It's my fault the king is dead.
Silence like a thundering storm.
You liar! No, it isn't! You're just some peasant!
You really think that matters? This rube here watched the king die. Just like I punched Bearbeth and I stole a bride to be you don't even remember having. There's no arguing that a peasant has done all those things, just like Lord Thumar knew I could.
How dare you speak of Thumar? Who do you think you are to put my father's name in your filthy mouth?
Adder signed Sep to put Elbar down. After a few tense moments, she rolled her eyes and did so.
I am no one, sir. Your father, though? He was truly something else. As a knight, and as a man. Never met a deer more willing to give this shovel hands a chance to prove he could do anything he set his mind to. As long as he could live another day. I was a soldier at his command. But I only fought, if you could call it that, till the day he died, and no more. Because that night, I ran in the opposite direction of the fort and never dared drag my ass back. You can go ahead and add desertion to my list of crimes.
Don't! Hi, yes, sorry, make way. Ex-best friend / landlord / manager / herald / lawyer coming through.
Yolf, I thought you'd left the city.
You said you had to take care of your sick sister.
Yes, thank you. I think she's doing better now. Aren't you, sis?
Suck my hoof, Gilf.
Yes,
I don't care if this is the true ending. This is my favorite ending.
I'm worried about.
It's
as
mine
much
too.
as I've tried, oh, how I've longed to leave him behind with all of my teachings. I just can't stop myself when I see him digging himself into deeper and deeper holes. I shall be the one to...
No! No, gosh darn it, Gilf! I'm tired of letting y'all do all the talking for me. I got a mouth. I can stand up for myself just fine. Same thing I've done my whole life. I didn't cross half the world and made it to this city alive with half a face just out of good luck.
Adder, wait, I didn't mean what I said about being done with you. I'm sorry. I forgive you. You don't know what you're saying.
I know darn well what I'm saying. I'm telling the truth. This buck's gonna die either way, right? Least he could do is stop dragging people down with him.
That's far too noble a sentiment for a peasant. But what do you hope to achieve telling me this now? Are you trying to appeal to my compassion?
No, sir. I can never hope to ask for any pity from your family. Not after I got your pa killed, too.
You mean to tell me that you murdered my father?
That's what I thought for a long time, but I hear that to kill and to let someone die are completely different things.
Adder made a space for himself amongst all the gods and freaks in the city.
No, sir. Your pa died protecting a two-eyed coward that fell asleep on a watchtower. That coward thought he would carry his banner back to Thumar's sons to rid himself of his guilt. But he sold half of it for a plate of boiled peas and a full canteen. Lord Thumar loved his sons more than anything in this world. He told me how you'd been sent to Alom, how his heart wept for Bearbeth as well. And as I held his hand in his last moments, he whispered how much he lamented what he'd done to you.
Elbar staggered back. He looked at Adder, deep in disbelief.
That's the one line that stuck with me as I made my way through the steps, hoping to get a chance to say all of this. But when I got here, they shut every door in my face. I wasn't important enough to see you. Only knights got that sort of privilege. I was broke and hungry and lonely, but I stayed, because I got a message to deliver, until I realized it was impossible. A buck like me'd never amount to anything in his life.
I may as well just have never existed at all. His last will was wasted on some hayseed.
You said it.
Ain't nothing left for me to say, sir. You can tighten another noose around my neck, or you can just cut it right now if you please. But I'm the one who let 2 people die. These folk had nothing to do with it.
Elbar walked towards Adder, his chin high and his sword firmly clasped between his hands.
Rise, Sir Upperfield. It is you, isn't it? Such a noble heart cannot be hidden by the villainous costume you wear. Not when even this godly sight acknowledges you.
Oh, yes. How could I not recognize Sir Adderson? Spotlight stealer that he is.
Adder tried to wink at Seth, but all he managed was a blink. See, I told you.
We have caused each other so much grief, and yet your devotion to my father and your ideals didn't waver in the slightest. You made your choice on how to serve Akathor, and you stood by it to the end. Were that I was half the knight you are. You and all the Bahans in this temple are hereby banished from Alom. Do not return and we shan't give chase.
Say what? We gotta leave? But we won!
I could forgive the many offenses you've cast on me and on this city. But the future of this kingdom is uncertain, and I know the rest of the lords won't be so kind.
We can't guarantee the next king will make good on this promise. So I'll stay then, to ensure that is the case.
Previously lost among the ground, Bearbith walked out of the gate. He let all eyes fall on him and proudly made his way towards his brother.
Sir Upperfield, you bested me so easily. And you didn't even need to show all your cards. Now, what am I saying? You didn't even need to draw your sword.
Elbar immediately knelt down, unable to hide the happiness on his face any other way.
I will do as you wish, my liege.
Adder reached out toward Bearbith, putting a hand on his shoulder to turn him back.
You sure this is what you want?
It's high time I stopped running, my friend. The stars I was born under. They shall serve to bring about their own demise. We will live to see a day where we're equals.
Right as Bearbith pulled away from his whisper, Elbar surrounded Adder in a tight embrace that nearly fractured his ribcage all over again.
Thank you for lifting this weight off my heart!
The group melee against Aina was completely futile and only served to entertain her. Bandit after bandit just fell exhausted before her without so much as landing a hit.
This is only a distraction. Riders, regroup!
But Etor's realization came too late. Even though he understood this, he still ran from corner to corner of the temple, barking orders and watching desperately as everyone turned past him. He'd lost all credibility among the people who simply wished to leave. The only ones that walked towards him were Zhao, Adder, and a small contingent of rather displeased gazelles.
It's over, y'all. Time to get walking.
No, this can't end so easily. This is the moment to fight. This is the day we change history.
Read the room, guy. Come on, we get to leave with our lives.
What are our miserable lives worth next to those of all that will follow? I refuse to give up. Where is the Yasif? She was supposed to lead us to...
Victory? A lofty goal for an army of drafted corpses.
A gazelle-sized and shaped Jasif strolled in, clasping her hands behind her back. Though the people on the patio didn't know her visage, and her dress wasn't quite up to her standards, her aura of royalty persisted.
I have heard a lot about you, Etor. We share the same goals, and I know that, out of everyone here, you would be the most capable of achieving them. But I will not have you sacrificing innocent people to my name. Today is not the day we make our stand.
No! It's now or never, can't you see? They're only letting us escape because they're terrified of you! Why won't you use your power?
His voice is familiar.
Sepp hung her head low, unable to find the right words to reply. Her power? How could she ever bear to use it and stand tall among mortals when she already carried the weight of too many corpses on her conscience? She finally whispered, removed of all spirit once again.
Because I wouldn't be able to live with what happened next.
Etor shook his head in disbelief. He turned to look at Zhao, desperate for guidance.
Priestess, say the word. What will you have us do?
The soldier that flees lives on to fight another battle.
Etor clenched his teeth so hard they seemed about to break. He let out a scream, turned their back to them, and leapt into his tree.
You are all the same in the end! promising the world until the real fight comes along, and then you cower in your contentment. I will not wait for change at the pace it suits the people stepping on our necks, just because you're afraid of dirtying your hands.
Itor shook Aram's reins, turning his ride so as to face the people remaining.
No kings or gods will free you. Follow me if you understand that much.
With this, Itor rode away into the city. Most of his band and the most ardent fighters among the civilians left with him, never to be seen again in the congregation. Only a few people were close enough to Zhao to hear her one-sided promise to him.
I won't let it end here.
Adder turned to look at the Temple of Hero one last time. He watched his friends marching among the crowd.
Shall we go then?
Adder nodded with his head low. Night in the steppes, broken only by the bonfire, the moon, and the stars, and the huge celebration making the languid crickets wish they didn't have neighbors.
Sing your woes, my friend. Sing them loud and clear.
Sing and share a cup. The pain sinks in a beer.
I can't believe they're still singing.
Tell me about it.
Yoff and Kebusop shared a surprised look.
Come on, at least we're all together. And we have the Yasif with us.
With her, you mean?
Zhao and Sep were lying down on a rug in their own little corner, speaking in hushed Basaktet.
So, what's life like up there? I've always wanted to see Akde Moisirat.
It's beautiful. The nights are long in Bleak Night, and the day never ends in Dawnsoon. But life is harsh, and the sun is always cold. So much so that you could die of exposure if you're not careful, even at home.
Oh? I think I read something about ibexes taking off their clothes and snuggling together to keep warm.
During blizzards, I suppose. It's a good way to raise someone's temperature when they're freezing, my son.
Fancy that. I'm starting to get kind of cold.
Stop being teased.
Zhao thoughtlessly reached out for Sep's arms and started rubbing it warmer.
We should find you something with sleeves then.
The goat only realized what she was doing when she saw Sep's surprised face in front of her.
I'm so sorry. I'll get you a blanket.
An extremely flustered Zhao jumped to her feet and scrambled away.
Sleeves? Really?
Oh look, Eka survived.
Don't worry. I'm sure she's heard worse.
Zhao's mouth opened and closed senselessly. Eka drew her hand away from Aina just as the compartment snapped shut on the smith's chest. The tall wolf put a finger over her lips.
Shh. Don't mind me. I just wanted to drop by for a moment to wish my sister a safe journey. Say bye to Bones for me when he's not sulking, yeah? I don't think he'll be happy to see me now.
Are you sure you can't stay for one drink?
It wouldn't work out, kid. I'd eat you whole before you knew it.
Eka patted Zhao's shoulder and then slunk away into the night.
I was counting on that.
Waggity smaggity do.
Aina let a heavy hand fall on Zhao's other shoulder. She flashed her an ill-boding smile, showing every last fang in her mouth.
My devotion to the Joseph remains unbreakable after all.
I need emotional backup, Adder. Your new friend is too cute.
Oh no, I'm not gonna go play third wheel with y'all again. Zhao gets terrifying about it.
Can you blame her? It's not every day you get to meet your goddess.
That's the least of her worries now.
Adder sank a little more into himself. Sep leaned forward as well, wrapping her arms around his neck.
Don't just wander off on your own like that. I haven't had my fill of you yet.
I just needed some fresh air.
We aren't precisely lacking in that around here. It's a tad too fresh, if you ask me.
You'll get used to it.
Like you with taverns and parties?
Just about.
There was a pause.
What's on your mind, Adderson?
She didn't need to ask, but she still did. And that somehow made all the difference. Adder's mouth clicked open. He looked haggard when he spoke.
He was already dead when I found him.
What?
Lord Thumor. I arrived too late. He had already been trampled to death when I found him.
Adder could not bring himself to look at Sep's face as he said this. Having mustered all of his courage to come this far, and now he felt like the world was crashing in on him, the poor boy shut his eye and hid his head between his arms, waiting for some sort of divine punishment. For a minute or so, there was no follow-up, only silence. A silence of sorts, given the festivities in the background. Not a single word was uttered, not even a chuckle, rare as that was. Sep rested her elbows on the railing, putting some distance between them.
That doesn't mean he didn't think what you said.
Ain't no one can ask him now.
And that's a good thing.
Sep looked up towards the stars in the sky, the Hatsa running in all sorts of colors.
Only the living remain in this world, loving and hurting and dying with every beat in our hearts, desperate for the freedom to be changed to the affection of others. You'll only know who you are through the eyes of someone else, remember? His story was yours as much as it was theirs. You are the person that wrote his final act into one of love.
Adder sniffed.
So I'm a liar, but I'm kind.
You are a good man. I love that about you.
A lump formed in Adder's throat upon hearing her words. A sob wanted to escape from his chest, but he did his best to hold it back. He sank to the ground, face buried in his knees.
You're so unfair.
Cries and chuckles soon started mixing into one another. Adder hung his head deeper and deeper, holding onto the railings lest he fall into the ravine below them. Sep crouched down next to him and planted a little kiss on his snout.
You love me.
I do.
Her hand moved to his cheek. Once more, though with his implicit permission this time, she planted a kiss on his lips.
Ah! No, nothing, Cliff! Ah!
Aina, he already apologized! Stop!
Adder and Sep turned their faces sharply away from each other. Aina was lifting Gioff over her head, stomping her way to the edge of the mesa they were resting on.
Well, you know what they say. A friend in need is a friend indeed. Someone better make sure Gioff don't get killed too dead.
Oh, yeah. We wouldn't want that.
Sep.
Fine. I'll handle Aina.
Say what? No, you take care of Gioff.
Aina, time to refill your batteries.
Sep, what do we say about personal space? Are you listening to me? Hey, Sep!
I think Max is the when that happened.
And so we reach the end.
Oh, wait, but this is not where the story ends.
Yeah, we know all that. Is this exactly the same? It is exactly the same.
Of the upper field.
So
Really?
does that mean that wasn't the true ending?
No, that is a true ending.
Oh, okay.
I think I'm starting to think that's how this game is designed. Yes, like they have multiple true endings, I should say, or multiple endings. I don't think there's a true ending actually.
Yeah.
I mean, that one feels the most satisfying.
Yes,
That did feel 100%.
It was a good ending, but I haven't found any others.
Oh.
Maxie did say there were 3.
Well, we got the
There you
3
go.
main
That's the 3 we
endings. We
found.
got the joke ending.
All right.
So we found the ending where we awaken Sep as a golem and she destroys the world. We found the ending where Adder runs away and becomes a pirate. We found the ending where he runs away and joins Gioff as a joke. And then we found this one where they successfully resuscitate Sep. And she brings about a new bisextet.
That did feel like...
Precipitate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Try
Hayseed
looking at the
Knight.
gallery in the main menu.
You won't get away with this! My lord ordered this research
Haven't you heard?
Tailed.
The kingdom is deep in debt. I've come to collect our dues. I own you! All of you. No one will save you now, little knight.
Dun dun dun.
Wait, what?
They're broke.
So, one thing I've noticed is that none of these endings confirm the identity of the narrator.
They do not.
No,
Which I was afraid Maxie
The only thing
was
we
gonna
get
do
is that
to us.
Lynn calls the narrator boss, which makes me think it's Aina.
Well,
I think
see,
I think it's Aina.
I think it's Gioff.
I was about to say I think it's Gioff.
Yeah.
See, I don't see that because I feel like Lynn is living like hundreds of years after Adder did, and the only couple of people we know who are actually immortals are Aina, Pertok, and maybe Sep.
Well, there's a couple of reasons why I suspect it's Geoff. One of which being there is a line where the narrator character is like, "Oh, this is the part where I come in," and that's the first scene with Geoff. Another one is all that business about Miss Rashal talking about, "Oh yeah, we drank together. He's the same age as me," and like, Adder's like, "Are you sure about that?"
That's the big clue right there for me too. Actually, I was gonna say
that made me suspicious. I'm like, "Oh, does he just not age? Has he got a secret?"
Yes, I think that's the big.
There are a lot more clues about Ina than Geoff, but it's ambiguous anyway.
It's almost saying that it's Sep, though.
If it
Yeah,
helps.
See,
personally,
because
I
at
think
the very beginning of the story, it said that's when it would the narrator would start when they and Adder met, and in that scene was the first time that Sep and Adder ran across each other, at least formally.
And also, the narrator also has Geoff's hat on. I find, or a similar hat at least.
You know, I feel like maybe Maxie wrote this intentionally to leave us all guessing.
No, that's not possible.
No.
A guy named Glitch, if it's Sep, then Lynn is huge. We have already established that Sep can change forms.
Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah, that's
also
not
we don't know that Lynn isn't like 30 feet tall.
Yeah, clearly. I'm okay not knowing.
The Sep could have changed forms, or like I like to imagine it is still Sep. Like she still has the same mostly look. She's just like little hunched over granny now.
That being said, I that Seth is my second guess, but I figured though, like why would she be going around with like the way she is right now though? That's the thing. I don't think that's something she would want to do. I could be wrong.
Well, I thought that the idea was that she was collecting artifacts. She was trying to collect the pieces from this story, and so one of them was the scarf that Lynn had.
Ina can also get reset, presumably changing personalities. Strongly implied she's some ancient person or being who was put into a golem like they tried to do to Sep, and like the king.
They never explained Aina's deal either.
Not completely.
Not totally.
The thing I understood of that
Maxie definitely left it ambiguous with clues for multiple characters.
Yeah.
Anyway, extras section.
The thing I understood with Aina was that Pertok had a daughter at some point, and he had an Aina, right? He adopted Aina and Eka, and they became Tessena and Tesseka.
Right.
So the first two members of the Tess clan or whatever, he became extremely attached to Aina, and when of course her life came and went, or either she died from an accident or she died from age or whatever, he could not let her go. And so he basically reanimated her body with this golem stuff and being like, I will make her live forever. And she woke up and had absolutely no memory of who he was and acted completely differently. He's just like, well, fuck. I can't let her go because I look at her and she still reminds me of my daughter that I knew. But she also is not my daughter anymore. And so now he's just held on to her because he can't let her go and he can't accept her. And so that's why he's constantly mad at her.
Yeah, but new version of Aina. She did good. So, in a way it's, it does mean something. Maybe not everything you want it to mean, but it's still good.
Maybe the real Aina.
Even though I
was
got all of the achievements and endings, there is one gallery pick I never found. Should be the last one. Something about ancient memories or something.
I think the real Aina was the friends we made along the way.
I also remember
along the Wayna.
Wait. We didn't get the images from Kiss?
A glimpse of the past.
A Kiss 002? We didn't get those?
Huh.
Damn it.
Weird.
Just or did the thing just disconnect?
Yeah, the bot died and then immediately tried to revive.
Transformation
and it didn't
dropped.
work.
Did
Weird.
not work. Alas.
Alas.
Twitch API, you think?
There we go.
I mean, yes. What about the Twitch API? Meh.
I remember when we first played this game, I did think at first that the narrator was Aina as well because of the size and because she was mute and so was the narrator. But yeah, that was too obvious in my opinion.
Oh yeah, what was the big hand?
Oh, that was just God.
Well, yeah, I mean, so that was
that Pertok?
That's
no,
just
that's
God.
Never understood the deal with the huge sky hand. Honestly,
it's just God. He
their
reached
actual
down
sun
to high
god or
five the
whatever.
world. He reached
the
down to
merchant.
high five the world, and he broke it.
The merchant.
So the sun god was trying to destroy Ain?
He's trying to destroy
Seb.
the Jasif, yeah.
Yeah.
Because the Jasif represents the era of the Barhan, and the sun god, whoever they are, basically gave the Eken their era.
Right.
It was trying to defend it.
Death bananas.
BANANAS.
He's trying to stop the resuscitation of the Avatar to make sure that his nation could rule the world.
What a game.
It was good.
I mean,
Best fanfic ever. There, I said it.
Yeah.
I never said that when I first did this too.
This game is so different from so many other games I've played.
Mm-hmm.
We definitely need more like that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I had to have taken the break into Adder's cell path back in chapter 2.
Oh, I see.
Oh, great back, by the way.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Meow.
Meow.
Meow. See?
Meow.
All right.
Anything else here?
I don't know. Is there?
I think Ina might be a previous Jazif, maybe even the first one. They do say that Sci-Fi sorcerers would be assigned to help Jazif stay sane.
I do not
Pertok
think
could
Aina
have
was
gotten
a
attached to Ina that way.
Sephi.
So what do we do
I think
now?
Aina's an Energizer bunny.
I don't know. Did you ever install Helldivers?
I have not yet.
Okay.
We could always do Jackbox or Escape Sim or Bees.
Risk of Rain. We could risk rain.
Could risk some rain.
I mean, it's up to you, Reggie.
Rain.